gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Sondik and Mengel, where we're talking MLB hot stove, Patrick Mahomes and company snapping the Chiefs' 50-year Super Bowl drought, and the NBA trade deadline. But first, before anything, we gotta talk about the big move that happened in the MLB. Mookie Betts shipping from Boston to LA. Grant, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, first off, trade not official yet. There's something going on with the medical there.
If it goes through.
If it goes through.
Does anyone beat this Dodgers squad?
Oof, that's a loaded question there. I mean, the Dodgers are already the NL frontrunner. They've won 7 NL West titles in a row, made 2 World Series appearances. They're in a win-now mode. They have been for years. They just haven't gotten the result. And you add a piece like Mookie Betts to that squad?
Yeah, 2018 AL MVP.
Yeah,
Mookie Betts.
They absolutely have to be the frontrunner by even more now. And it's tough to see a team beating them in 5 or 7. And the only way that's going to happen is if you got really great pitching, because great pitching beats great hitting in the playoffs.
We saw that last year with the Nets.
Exactly.
Rode, Strasburg, and Scherzer all the way.
Exactly. And, I mean, themselves, they don't have a great rotation anymore. Kershaw's getting a little older, and they lost Ryu, so...
Yeah.
I
To Toronto.
don't know who beats them, though.
I think the only team that has a shot right now, in my opinion, watching them 19 times a year, the Atlanta Braves, because not only did they win 95, 96 games last year, another year of Ronald Acuna, him and Soto are going to be battling for MVP, I think, and the Dodgers could possibly beat themselves. Kershaw and Price are both in the same rotation. 5 or 6 years ago, you're a little nervous. Both those guys have proven it they're not good in October.
No,
and
they're not.
It's very possible that they might be able to beat themselves.
So the Dodgers are trading some of the farm in this trade, Verdugo and other pitchers and a few prospects in there. So they're getting Mookie for 1 year only. Is he in LA long term?
This is the thing, and it's hard to not make Mookie Betts your priority, but you got Justin Turner, free agent, Bellinger's as an arbitration year, and you're still paying Kershaw and Jansen $51 million next year, man. That hurts. And I think it's all a matter of how far they go in the playoffs. If they win a ring, I think they'll be less incentivized, because this year has never been more open for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They said, we want Mookie Betts, we want to win right now. The NL's wide open. The AL's pretty open outside of the Yankees, which we'll get to later. So I think it all depends on how far they go. What do you think?
Well, Mookie Betts has the second highest WAR since coming into the league. Hits 300, gets a 30 homers, 100 RBIs. The man's going to get paid.
Exactly.
It's going to be
Deserved.
huge. So can the Dodgers really afford him is the big question. I don't know. But they've got a whole year of Mookie Betts to wine and dine him and just say, look how great LA is, the big lights,
Exactly.
everything. You want to stay here in LA, Mookie. So at the end of the day, the Dodgers aren't stingy either. They're going to throw...
They will shell money
They
out.
will throw the money at him.
Exactly.
So I think he'll be there long term, which is a very scary concept.
For the whole league,
Yeah.
NL especially. Dodgers are one of a couple teams that made a big few splashes in the offseason. Grant, give me your biggest winner this offseason.
Biggest winner has to be the New York Yankees. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. I mean, you go out there and sign Garrett Cole, the best pitcher in the market, 9 years, over $300 million. Oh man, he's a Yankee for life now, basically. And I mean, no more Mookie in the division, most likely. Your rival loses their best player. That's a good day for you.
Yeah.
And then the whole Astros scandal. Everything's kind of blowing up there. You know, they got Dusty Baker now. Not a great manager.
I mean, big downgrade from AJ.
Big downgrade from AJ.
Regardless
Hinch.
of
So,
cheating or not.
The Yankees are in a great spot. The AL wide open this year too. The East should be, I don't want to say a cakewalk because Tampa's out there pretty
I just
good,
don't think
but-
Tampa's in their weight class.
Yeah, but it's a
I
two,
just don't. I don't think so.
it's a 2-team race instead of a 3-team race, and that the Yankees are probably gonna get home field, and the AL goes through New York, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think the Angels won huge this offseason. I mean, they finally gave Mike Trout some protection in the lineup. Anthony Rendon, monster year last year. Getting Jock Peterson, underrated. The guy has pop. Not great average. The guy has pop. Ross Stripling for the rotation and Teheran. Teheran didn't look great with the Braves. I think a fresh start would be great for them. So
Yeah, I agree with you. They had a very good offseason, but on the other hand, some teams didn't have a great offseason. So, in the MLB, who's one of the bigger losers of the winter?
So we don't have to go far for this. We're gonna stick in New York, and I think the New York Mets were a big loser this offseason. The timeline just is very Mets. You hire Carlos Beltran, which was a question mark, and then you fire Carlos Beltran because he helped the Astros cheat, and then the Wilpons are gonna sell the team, and then Steve Cohen backs out, and then you hire Luis Rojas. It just doesn't make any sense, and they didn't really like Michael Walker and Rick Porcello. Those guys, they're way over the hill, man, and I don't know, and guys like the Braves and Nats and Phillies, the Phillies got Joe Girardi, everyone got better, so I think they were a big loser.
Yeah.
What about you? Who do you think lost this offseason?
I'll stay in the NL East. I got the reigning World Series champion Washington Nationals, actually. Rendon walked. You lose your best player, that's never a good sign. I mean, they re-signed Strasburg for life, basically, which that's good for them. But then besides that, they couldn't find Rendon's replacement. No Chris Bryant, no Josh Donaldson, no Nolan Arenado. And then they signed guys like Eric Thames, Asdrubal Cabrera, Starlin Castro. If you want to go back-to-back, those aren't the guys that's going to get the job done. So.
Especially in a tough division. You play in the
really
Phillies 19 times a year, Braves 19 times a year, and the Mets 19 times a year. Even the Marlins are pesky.
Yeah, but that's a 4-team race in that division, and you're the team with the Mets that didn't get better.
Exactly.
That's just, they're losers from this offseason. I don't
100%.
see them going back-to-back at this point. It's very hard.
No,
but.
especially because the World Series hangover is very real.
Yep.
So.
Switching gears to the NFL, because it wouldn't be right if we didn't talk about the big game that just happened. We saw the Chiefs stage a comeback against the Niners to win 31-20 and get Andy Reid his first ever Super Bowl. We actually got a lot of things right about the Super Bowl this year, not to toot our own horn, but you had Patrick Mahomes winning Super Bowl MVP, and he did. But did he deserve it?
I know there's a lot of Damian Williams sympathizers there. But Damian Williams doesn't get the opportunities he gets because the Niners prep so hard for number 15 slinging in the backfield, and he still had 286 yards. Yeah, a couple picks, and I think it's a tribute to someone being great. I see this in baseball all the time with pitchers. I'll use it as an example. When guys don't have their best stuff and they can lead their team to victory, that's greatness. So I think he was the most valuable player on the field. He's been the most valuable player all year, and it's just a sign of things to come for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. What about you? Do you think Patty deserved it?
I disagree with you on this one. Williams had one of the best performances of his career so far. 17 carries. In the Chiefs' offense, you don't get 17 carries too. They depended on him, really.
Yeah, it's true.
Over 100 yards, a touchdown, and then 4 catches for about 30 yards and another touchdown. And both those touchdowns were very important. The first one took the lead, and the second one iced that game. That's my Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
In the big moment, he stepped up, and that's what won them the game, really.
Yeah, I think he was... I definitely see your point. I just think Patrick Mahomes got them down there at, like... That 40-yard dot to Tyreek Hill was, like, a big sigh of relief for people that were, like, Chiefs fans and rooting for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because you were like, oh, this is my guy that threw 50 touchdowns last year won MVP.
Yeah.
So I think that throw was huge, and Damian Williams, without him, they don't win that game. I totally agree with you.
I mean, both of them had a great case, but went to Mahomes, and I'm sure he'll have the chance to get a few more of those.
I have a feeling that they'll be there a couple times more. Yeah.
But the 49ers played fantastic for the first 3 quarters. That's not enough to beat these Kansas City Chiefs. This is now the second time Kyle Shanahan has gone into the 4th quarter with a lead in the Super Bowl and lost. What did this say about him as a coach? Is he to blame here?
This is the thing. The Niners, their expectations were rock bottom. You had guys on NFL Network picking them to go 3-13. And including myself, I didn't think they were making the playoffs through 3 weeks. And then they thumped the Browns, and then they just took off. Jimmy G right now isn't a Super Bowl winning quarterback. We saw that. He doesn't have the tools yet. I'm stressing yet because he's very young, and this is their first year being good. And Mahomes got over the hump last year because he ran into Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, even at home. So I think it's going to take... I think the Niners will be back. I think the Rams didn't look good at all this year. I think Seahawks will be solid as always. I think Arizona will be a little improved. But I think that's their division to lose. So I'm not going to blame it all on Kyle Shanahan, but it's tough when you blow 2 leads in the Super Bowl. It doesn't look good. So what do you think?
Yeah, it's not on Kyle. I don't think people are going to really put it on Kyle this year. I think Jimmy G's a pretty easy scapegoat. I mean, rightfully so. But if they make it back, man, Kyle is going to have some pressure, and he's going to hear the noise.
It's going to be a legacy-defining Super Bowl if they get back.
I mean, you're 0-2, you get outscored 50-0 in the 4th quarter of 2 different Super Bowls. That's not something you want on your resume. I mean, Jimmy G was exposed for the game manager he is right now, and I've seen right through that all year. He's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback, like you said, yet. Give him some time. He'll have the chance to get there maybe again and prove us wrong. But as of now, game manager.
100%.
And now we'll shift gears into the NBA. the madness that is the NBA trade deadline, as Woj bombs have been blowing up phones of NBA fans this week up until the end at 3 today. One of the first major trades that occurred was actually earlier this week, as the Rockets, Nuggets, Wolves, and Hawks pull off a 4-team, 12-player blockbuster. Who did this trade help, and who did this trade hurt? Sort it out.
It's just kind of a big head scratcher. I'll recap it real quick. I mean, the Hawks got Clint Capella, and they got Nene, and they said, Nene's, you're old, and they waived him. And then the Nuggets, they shipped Malik Beasley, one of their best bench players, and then Minnesota didn't really get anything. I mean, besides Beasley, they didn't get much. And the biggest head scratcher is, what are the Houston Rockets doing? Because Clint Capella's 25, and he's awesome, and Robert Covington's always been solid, but
and PJ Tucker's your center now?
He's 6'5". Mater Day High School, by the way. Average height 6, and I think it's 6'6.5". Rockets is 6'6". So yeah, height's not everything, but how are they gonna match up with Davis and Jokic and Porzingis and Gobert?
If you get to the finals, you gotta play Giannis. Who can guard that man?
It doesn't look good for them. I think Houston lost big time, and I think if any team won, I think Atlanta. I mean, they're not good, but Capella's 25. Pair him with Trae Young, John Collins. You got another high draft pick. Exactly, another high draft pick coming. So I think the Hawks definitely won this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Minnesota was not done wheeling and dealing though, as today they shipped Andrew Wiggins to the Golden State Warriors for D'Angelo Russell. Grant, what are your thoughts on this? Who do you think won this trade?
I think it's a win-win, actually. Very few trades do you see both teams come out with a win, but this is one of them. Andrew Wiggins, number 1 pick, gets a fresh start in a place with good structure, great head coach. You're going to go out there this year, scrap this
It's
year.
a wash.
It doesn't mean anything.
He'll do the same thing D'Lo did. Empty buckets. He'll be there.
Empty buckets, he'll fill it up. But then next year with Steph and Clay, when he doesn't have to be one of the main options, he can be a slasher, a cutter, catch oops, just doesn't have to create his own shot every time.
And he can fill it up, but he's not efficient. And with the Warriors, he'll be way more efficient because they're gonna find him because Steph and Clay themselves just bring defense to their knees.
Steve Kerr is one of the smartest head coaches out there. If anyone can fix Wiggins and use him properly, it's him. And then for the Wolves, you get Cat's buddy there with him. I mean, D'Lo, he hasn't found a home, and
he's still young.
I feel like
he's been in the league forever, and he just hasn't been. So,
but he took the Nets to the playoffs last year, and I'm not saying this.
And they got a game.
I'm not saying this Timberwolves team is ready for the playoffs. But I mean, they've lost 13 in a row. We're not gonna talk about that right now, but they get the point guard, hopefully for the future there, and you get that pick and roll duo with him and Big Cat. I mean,
it's awesome.
And you get the big contract from Wiggins out of there too.
They've always struggled. It's very ironic because they always struggled with finding someone that can dominate the backcourt, and they struck out with Curry twice, with Rubio and Johnny Flynn. So it's kind of finally maybe they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So I think that actually benefits both teams. But you move to the East. The biggest move, undoubtedly, is Iggy and Crowder to the Heat. They gave Ja and Dylan Brooks what they wanted, but does this elevate the Heat to the second best team in the East?
No, because I have trouble putting them over Toronto and Boston. Toronto, because they just came off a championship run, and those guys, I mean, they won 12 in a row. They came back, they were down 8 with a minute 40 left.
One of the best coaches in the game.
Exactly, and the Celtics are very solid this year, and then the Bucks are a juggernaut. So I think it's helpful, but we don't know how much Iggy had left in the tank. And I could be totally wrong, and he could surprise us all and do what Melo did at first with Portland. But I don't know if this elevates them over the top, per se. And Jay Crowder's solid, 3-and-D guy, but also gave up 70 points to Devin Booker. So there's pros and cons to each trade.
Yeah, I've never seen all the hype with Iggy as the LeBron stop. You don't stop LeBron. You gave up 28 points a game.
Exactly.
Still, and
that Finals MVP, he played really well, but Curry still averaged 10 more points a game.
Yeah.
So.
And you sit out for the first half of the season. I just think that's wrong. You're getting paid to sit there, and that's just
on a playoff team. Memphis is in the playoffs.
You don't want to
look it up.
You don't want to play with a young, exciting core of Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. I get you want to win, but that's a bad look.
Golden State's the worst team in the league.
That's a bad
What's
look.
he looking for? So
bad
hopefully this helps him.
Yeah.
Before we wrap it up, it's time to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and what to watch for.
We'll start off with birthdays. Happy birthday to Hall of Famer Alonzo Mourning, who turns 50 on February 8th. Mourning spent most of his career down in South Beach with the Miami Heat. He was a 7-time All-Star and 1-time World Champion with Flash and Shaq in 2006. We also wish a happy birthday to Vladimir Guerrero, who will be turning 45 on February 9th. He was AL MVP in 2004 and hit 449 tanks. in his lengthy Hall of Fame career. When I think of Vlad, I think about how he hit pitches that no one in their right mind would even swing at.
Yeah, literally, like, against the Orioles, there was a clip, it went off the ground, and Vlad was like, yeah, it's a base hit to right.
Yeah.
So, the strike zone was infinite with
And
Vlad.
now he's got a son out there playing, so happy birthday, Vlad.
Happy anniversary to the New Orleans Saints. In 2010, Drew Brees and Sean Payton took down the Colts, aided by an onside kick to start the second half. One of the boldest moves ever. And then a Tracy Porter classic pick six, sending the Saints home happy and giving Brees his first ring.
Yeah, as a Manning guy, that one hurt. Not gonna lie.
And on this day in 1975, Pistol Pete Maravich and the New Orleans Jazz, we're going all the way back, did the unthinkable and won their first road game of the season. This is February, and they broke a 28-game road losing streak, beating the Atlanta Hawks 106-102. Pistol Pete, you're a monster. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, so and if you're wondering what to watch for this weekend, you might be going through some football withdrawal, the season's over. Have no fear, it's XFL time, baby. 8 teams in action Saturday and Sunday, some pretty crazy rules. Gonna make the game more exciting, faster paced, can't wait. Go Dallas Renegades,
The
baby.
double forward pass, an art that has not been mastered because it hasn't really been tried. I'm so excited to see it.
Go Renegades.
And if you're looking for some college basketball and you like rivalries, this one's pretty good. You got Duke going into Tobacco Road against a really poor North Carolina team, one that's struggling for a tournament berth. It's going to be close regardless. Vernon Carey, Cassius Stanley have to take on the man known as Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Last 100 meetings, 50-50. Duke's got him beat by 2 points.
That's just
It's gonna be a show.
one of the best rivalries in all of sports. But unfortunately, we're out of time for today. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
And as always, folks, let's ride.
And